Hello everyone, and welcome back to I've Been Playing. Today we're taking a look at two games, both of which are leaving Xbox Game Pass soon, which is why we're taking a look at them. We've got Midnight Fight Express and Edge of Eternity. We're going to start with Midnight Fight Express because of the two, it is the one I played more of. I got more than halfway through the game before I quit, and we'll get into why I quit in a minute. But it's essentially a beat 'em up. It's very similar, in my mind anyway, to Hotline Miami in terms of how it functions. The aesthetic's very different, you can tell that, but similar kind of idea. You're going through different levels that, if you're good at them, are relatively short. Well, even if you're not good at them, they're relatively short compared to Hotline Miami. But anyway, the point is, you're beating the crap out of people with anything, really, and then you progress to the next level. Each level is somewhere between 3 and 5 minutes long, depending, again, on how good you are, how familiar you are with the mechanics and the game itself and stuff like that. You can go back to try challenges and things like that. Challenges unlock after you finish each level, so you can go and replay them, so there's some replayability there. And you can also unlock costumes, upgrades, perks. I want to say stats, but that's not the word I mean. You can improve your abilities and unlock new combos and stuff like that, which will make it easier as you progress. In theory, although I did find myself just kind of button mashing for the most part, it didn't always work super successfully. I had to still have a bit of strategy to my button mashing, but you can get through it without remembering specifically what each button and what each button combo does. So I had a lot of fun with this game. There is a story, there is an overarching story, again, kind of like Hotline Miami, although I did kind of stop paying attention after a while. It feels a little less important than certainly the gameplay of this game specifically, but it started out interesting and I just kind of lost interest after a while, so it's there. It's probably not the most important thing in the world. I just kind of wanted some brainless entertainment because I had been playing puzzle games on my Switch and I wanted something that was kind of the complete opposite of having to use my brain, which is what a beat 'em up is. So you can follow the story if you like. It's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad story, I just feel like it's also not that important. Certainly not as important as it wants to be, in my mind. But that might just be me. I didn't go into this with the mindset of wanting to engage with any sort of story, so I didn't. I didn't find it too difficult. Really, like I said, you can kind of button mash your way through it. I definitely was dying a fair amount occasionally, but nothing too bad, and like I said, the levels are fairly short, so it probably won't hold you back too often anyway, and it seemed to checkpoint pretty regularly, so it wasn't a big deal. Essentially all that does is ruin your score towards the end, which I wasn't really that bothered about anyway, so it didn't bother me that I wasn't doing it perfectly every time. There were a couple of levels I managed to do really well, up until the point where I stopped playing because I got annoyed. So, the point where I stopped, you obviously meet a great variety of enemies as you play through this game. That's kind of the whole point. Each level has new enemies, and there are kind of like different factions and stuff as you go through, different people you're trying to defeat and take care of, whatever the case may be. You're trying to attack them, and eventually, don't question why, zombies come into things. And oh my god, they are so annoying. The way they attack is so annoying because, oh my god, you're not supposed to get close to them because whenever they get close to you, they grab onto you. No questions asked. They're on you, attacking you. And that's it. You can't do anything about it. So you have to take them out with guns. Fine, okay. Easy enough, in theory. The problem with these zombies is that they're coming from all around you because it's a big open area. Well, sort of open, there are pathways and stuff, but it's more open than the rest of the game has been up to this point. Hopefully you can still hear me over all this rumbling. And they're coming at you from everywhere. So now some of them are easy to deal with because they walk pretty slowly, but others will just run at you. And the aiming, at least on Xbox, because it's on a controller, is difficult. More difficult than it would be on, say, PC if I was playing it there. And I couldn't aim, and then as soon as the zombie grabs onto you, you get nommed on, and you drop your weapon, and then the zombie is still right there next to you once it lets go of you. So if you don't grab your weapon in the half a millisecond that you have between the zombie letting go and the zombie grabbing onto you, because it's still right there next to you and it's probably one of the fast ones, like, you'll just get stun locked and killed, and it was a pain in my ass, and I tried it several times, more times than I had tried any other level up to that point, because I did have to retry a few of them, but it didn't take me any more than 4 or 5 tries, and this one took me I think I stopped around 15 because I was just getting pissed off. It's like, I am not doing this. I am not putting up with... And the thing about the enemies is that once they show up, they tend to show up again in at least the next few levels. And I did not feel like dealing with that. So I may go back to it at some point. I doubt it. It is leaving Game Pass soon, so it certainly won't be on there. But oh my god. I was having fun up until that point. And I don't know if I was enjoying it enough to go back or not. If I did, it would have to be on PC, so the aiming doesn't suck, but who knows. The second of the games we're talking about is Edge of Eternity. Now, this one I only played for 45 minutes, I think. I tried to give it a full hour because it is a big, long JRPG kind of thing. Very, very heavily influenced by Final Fantasy specifically. I mean, this is just the Final Fantasy 15 font, come on. And I could tell within the first 5 minutes of the game that I was not going to enjoy it, but I tried to give it a fair chance. So I can't really give too much detail on this one. I don't know if it gets any better or not. I personally wasn't a big fan of the I'm kind of condensing this one partly because I didn't play it very much and partly because it's very dark and it's going to rain. Anyway, I could tell very early on that I wasn't going to enjoy it. The dialogue almost instantly turned me off. It was not great. It's not made by a big team, which is fine. It's not a problem, but I just didn't like the characters at all immediately, which is not a good sign. The combat didn't like either. Obviously it's turn-based, but it was slow even for turn-based combat, and I didn't like it very much. And it's sort of turn-based, and you also sort of have to move around, and it just felt slow as shit. It was so slow. It was so tedious that even the first fight felt like it took so much longer than it needed to, and it wasn't even that difficult because it was technically the tutorial fight, and I was just like, please, for the love of God, hurry up. So I think it will probably be okay for people who are huge JRPG fans, but as someone who doesn't really play them all that often and has less of a tolerance for jankiness in them, not for me. Okay, I need to stop now. That's all I can tell you. Look at how dark it's gotten. It's been like 10 minutes. I need to go before there's a storm, but those are my thoughts. They're not super cohesive, and I mean, I've been gone dog sitting for 2 weeks, so I haven't had that much time to play much of anything because I've been elsewhere. In any case, in this spooky lighting, I'm going to leave. Hopefully you got enough of a taste of each game to at least get an idea what it's about, I guess, a little bit, sort of. And I'll see you in the next one, which will hopefully be not as rushed and more coherent.